And we're going to go ahead and kick it to break here for Warfare Fighting Championships. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors, Beach Window and Door, Blue Energy Drink, Carolina Coastal Plastic Surgery and Medical Spa, Club Boca, the official home of the Warfare After Party. And again, Joe, we're going to go ahead and throw it up to this next fight. Who, man, I'm giddy on so many of these fights in this card. I know we've talked about this.
So evenly matched, man. All these fights, I really can't predict the winner or loser. It's going to be very, very close in this one as well.
Bart Weeks, again, he's, from what I hear, he's just a stud. He's a North Carolina stud. A lot of people compare him to North Carolina's version of Jeremiah Scott, and that's who he's getting ready to fight tonight.
His only loss was a 5-round decision, and from what I hear, he's a grinder. You don't get a nickname like Iron Man unless you know, you're a grinder, you got heart and batteries. Really big in the comic books. I'm going to go with the first one. I think he's a grinder. I think he's got heart for days, and he's in shape, ready to go, as we can see.
Nothing wrong with being in the comic books, Joe.
No, not at all.
But definitely looking forward to this fight. Bart Weeks, a lot of hype behind him for a good reason. The guy's gone the distance. You know, he lost that 5-round decision for a title by, I believe, quoting him, 2 points. And that's 2 points in a 5-round fight. That's a position here, a strike there, a knockdown here or there. There's not much that separates a win and a loss between somebody.
Absolutely, especially with judging in MMA, it gets sketchy sometimes. So a loss, decision loss, you know, they can be runaway losses or they can be very, very close. And it sounds from how he described it and the guys around him that, you know, it was a very close fight that he dropped.
His opponent that we're starting to bring to the cage here, Jeremiah Scott. Jeremiah Scott's coming off a very, very impressive first-round finish at his last fight. I like to call both these guys the young guns. They're both pretty young. They're both experienced young fighters. Now, a lot of times in MMA, you don't see guys at these ages. Jeremiah Scott's 20 years old. You don't see a guy with as many fights as Jeremiah has and fighting to the level that he has. When the phone rings for Jeremiah Scott to fight, he picks it up and puts it on speaker.
He's just a kid, man, that loves to fight. We see him come. You'll see him when he gets in here. He's just in his glory, man. He loves it. He's happy. He's having fun. That's what's important for these fighters, man. They're having a good time. They're getting in that comfort zone when they're out there. And again, 20 years old, just coming off a win not even a month ago. So it's going to be really impressive to see these guys go at it. You know, like you said, they're the North and South Carolina version of each other. So 2 young guns going at it for a belt. That's an awesome fight in my book.
And again, some more beautiful cornrows and dreadlocks for the evening.
I'm getting jealous. We can't do this.
Joe, you probably can, man. I'm a little receding up here. You probably got more options than I do, but I don't see you rocking the cornrows. It's all right. It's all right. Again, we shoot to Bart Weeks in the cage, moving around, staying focused. And then we got the Wild Man jumping, diving in there, showing a little showmanship, thanking his local crowd for coming out and supporting him as they always do. Got another title fight in our hands tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we call this show The Rise of Champions. This is the second of our 4 title fights this evening.
And we start to see that shift from guys that are just getting that first, second, maybe third fight to these guys that really are carrying themselves like professionals. They're just on the cusp of going pro. So we really get these high-level fights for these belts. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how these guys have evolved.
Iron Man's ready. Looks like the Prophet's ready. I'm ready. Joe, are you ready?
I am definitely ready.
I think everybody's ready, except for Bruce. We're going to let him finish up in there.
I know these guys are ready. They want him to get out of the way. They want to start right now. They're pacing. They're ready to go. I'm ready to go. Let's see it.
As you all hear in the background, very loud, very large statement made by Jeremiah Scott's fans and followers.
The crowd here at House of Blues, man, they are amped up. They want to see this fight. And a large majority here for Jeremiah Scott,
We're
the local
at a
boy.
packed house. I've been lucky enough to see Jeremiah Scott train from a very young age. I believe when I saw him train, he was around 10, 11 years old.
That's crazy, man. That's what we had, that new breed in MMA. They're coming up learning everything. And as we can see, both these guys have done that.
Full-grown men here tonight. Good jab by Bart Weeks.
Both guys very similar, moving around.
Good straight right hand by Bart.
He has Jeremiah against the cage. I'd like to see Jeremiah push off, maybe circle, look for that underhook. But Bart's doing a good job controlling that leg. I'd like to see him get in that wide stance, get that underhook.
Little stop in the action here. Not too sure exactly what that was for, but here we go. We're starting to back up again. Blake Grice on top of it. Excellent referee.
Jeremiah displaying that explosive leg work, getting back off the cage. They're back in the middle of it again. But
Jeremiah needs to keep his chin covered when he throws those right kicks.
good job by Bart. He's coming forward, pressuring Scott.
Exactly. Took the words out of my mouth. Bart Weeks is a straight line guy, it looks like so far.
And that's an interesting style. We have a guy that likes a lot of lateral movement, a lot of footwork. Bart Weeks is more coming forward, being very aggressive, straight punches. This is going to be a good clash of these styles.
And I love those mutton chops that he's working with too.
Yeah, more like Wolverine, not so much Iron Man.
Again, we got him right
good
in front
cage
of
work.
us.
Scott looking for that underhook, wants to point that left hand to the sky, really get that runner stance and turn off the cage. Good balance. He goes for a ride, but he gets right back up. These guys are scrapping early in this first round. And now Weeks with some leg kicks of his own.
Oh, these guys are well-rounded. Now, Weeks is a little bit, again, more of the straight line fighter, it seems.
Yeah, he's really putting that pressure. He's making it ugly. He does it against the fence, mixing strikes and grappling.
Me personally, if I'm fighting a guy like Jeremiah Scott, I want to push him against the cage. I want to make him uncomfortable.
You want to pressure him. You don't want to let him have that chance to work those big leg kicks, that footwork. You want to make it ugly, which is what Weeks is doing a good job of doing. But Jeremiah's cagey. He's on his side here, gets that underhook, and he's looking to get either sweep or get back up. See that knee in front, pushing him back, keeping that distance, keeping him back from being able to be struck.
Weeks on top is not safe. Jeremiah Scott's very, very active off his back, very, very deadly.
Absolutely, and we see him looking for that leg work, but good job by Weeks trying to get on the back. And we're going to see if Jeremiah doesn't turn on top. Weeks ends up in top position. Very
Almost
good
full mount.
scramble.
We're close. He's got a little knee in there preventing that.
He's landing strikes right away. Scott gets those legs back in. Let's see if he can't. Looking for those up kicks. What he wants to do here, he wants to get that distance. He wants to try to get up or get underneath enough like he can, to attack, like he's doing. You don't want to sit in that middle zone. And a good back take by Jeremiah Scott. Beautiful jiu-jitsu. He uses those shins, and he's attacking for the arm right away. I can't see if it's extended. He almost has that arm extended. And the round is up.
The round. Oh, my.
Great first round from these two. That's a show, and that's that pro level that we're starting to see these guys get to.
Tell you what, I'm glad Joe was talking right there because I probably would have been squeaking. Wow.
I just picked Trevor's jaw up off the floor.
We were pretty close to a finish right there. Excellent movement by both these guys. This is going to be one hell of a fight. Big right hand by Bart Weeks early. Again, pushing Jeremiah up against the fence. Jeremiah creating space. These guys are ready to fight tonight. I think we probably learned that in the first 3 minutes.
Absolutely. These guys are gamers, man. They're putting on a show, and they want that belt.
Now, Weeks definitely looks, both these guys, again, like we said, are well-rounded. Weeks looks a little tentative in the kicking game on how to set it up. Maybe that's something we can see Jeremiah Scott utilize a little bit more later.
Absolutely. Looks very fluid in his wrestling, but his jiu-jitsu, we saw Jeremiah get the better of a little bit, especially toward the end of the round.
Bart seems very heavy on top. I'm going to go ahead and say he's a tough guy if he's been on top of JZ.
Absolutely.
Jeremiah this long. I mean.
And interesting not using the stool. Looks like he's in very good shape.
Look at this setup right here, Joe. Talk me through that.
He goes behind him. He goes for a leg lock. And now look, he uses his shins behind the hamstrings. Gets him off balance. Falls right into the back position. Perfect chance to attack. He knew there was a short time left. He's not going to work that choke. Right away attacking those limbs. Beautiful job.
Round underway. Here we go.
Jeremiah moving and Bart walking forward again, pressuring.
Bart's definitely aiming that jab out there. Incidental kick. Both fighters threw that kick. And
we've seen too many of these tonight. This is taking a toll on me just watching.
A lot of times that does happen, Joe, and our fans at home. when two people are kicking. It's not the intended area where they're throwing it all. It's they're throwing to the outside of the thigh.
Absolutely.
When your hips turn, guess what's there now?
And a lot of times we'll see that referee warn them, you know, aim your shots.
Very accidental, though. I think everybody here knew that one.
100%. These guys, like we said, they're good sportsmen.
Bart kind of wading in on a lot of the strikes. Not really very balanced on them. Lots of power, but not a great deal of balance. Good catch there by Jeremiah Scott. Bart looking to set up that uppercut. Definitely like to see a little bit more of him. Bart is setting up, maybe throwing a couple different combos. He's kind of waiting in 1-2 strikes most.
And a lot of good coaches, I hear them say, you know, if you can touch him twice, you can touch him 3-4 times. Yeah, I'd like to see him really put it together. Good shot by Jeremiah. But Bart coming right back at him. These guys are not wavering.
Oh, man.
Now Jeremiah on the receiving end.
It's like we're trading nut shots here tonight, folks. Not intentional.
It's accidental. You know, you see the hometown crowds, they get a little aggressive over it, but these guys are not trying to win like that.
That was a wild exchange. I mean,
absolutely.
Strikes were being thrown, bodies were moving. None of that was intentional, in my opinion.
In the heat of battle, these guys they're seeing blurs. They're not seeing clear shots of where they're hitting.
Same way with Jeremiah. He wasn't intending on that. Bart Weeks doesn't look like he was aiming to kick him there, just aiming to kick. Using a couple minutes to go ahead and take his time. Blake Rice is walking over to Jeremiah, and he's just kind of walking through, making sure we're ready. Here we go.
More action. These guys are showing no signs of slowing down either. I love it.
Good
keeping that heavy pace.
Kicks. Lots of kicks in this fight from both fighters. Good inside left leg kick by Bart Scott. Or Bart Weeks, my fault.
Good exchange again. Jeremiah going forward this time, landing some good shots. Missed head kick.
Like to see him
Jay-Z
set
brushes
that
it
up.
off.
If he's going to throw that, he's got to set it up. A right high kick is one of the hardest strikes to land in MMA without using something to set it up.
Got to get him thinking. And a nice overhand right by Jeremiah again.
These exchanges here are getting more and more violent as this fight goes on.
And neither guy, no matter how many shots they're taking, they're coming forward. They're not slowing down. A lot of guys have been predicting this is fight of the night, and so far they're proving us right.
The Iron Man against the Prophet. Good push kick by Jeremiah Scott. Use that technique to keep your opponent off you, judge your distance, up some of your strikes.
Nice leg kick. Bart coming forward again.
Already seeing a little bit of wear and tear on both these fighters' legs, some welts from both these kicks exchanged. Big knee to the body by Bart Weeks. Weeks almost employing a stalking type mentality. Good straight right. He's parrying that hand down, and he's going to throw a straight right. It's been landing well. Why is he going to stop doing it?
Absolutely. He's seeing something work. He's going to keep attacking that area until the other fighter makes that adjustment.
I'd like to see Jeremiah go ahead and work his back off the cage.
Nice overhand right. And Bart just eats it and fires back with his own. These guys are trading. These guys have no problem staying in the pocket, going toe-to-toe.
Big, beautiful leg kick by Jeremiah Scott.
Now it's going to be interesting to see if in the later rounds, those leg kicks don't wear on Bart's legs. It's going to slow him down. That movement, that walking forward, he might change his mind.
Both these guys are tired. They're putting it all on the line here for us tonight. This is an exciting fight. I look forward to 3 more rounds of this. Again, you mentioned it earlier, the first round, Bart Weeks, he's not using that stool. What do you think the benefit is of that?
I believe, me personally, just from training in mixed martial arts, I believe your legs get rubber if you're sitting down. I think you stand back up. If you're tired, you're going to figure it out when you sit down, when you get back up. But then again, for years, boxing, MMA, we've seen guys using the stool. I'm sure it can't be bad. But I see a benefit to hang on the cage. You keep those lungs open. You know, you got that deep breath running through you. So I don't think both guys are in the right or wrong here. I think it's preference.
Craig Mojo, you've told me in the past, you recover faster while you're moving.
Absolutely, and especially if you train that way, if you train, you know, most guys, they don't sit down on a stool in training. So everybody says train how you fight, you know, and I imagine he's taking that word for word and applying it, which is, you know, you don't see a ton of guys stand up between rounds, but I think it has a benefit, and I think he's trying to make maybe a statement a little bit.
We see more of this action here from both these fighters in the second round, and this was just a brief piece of what we saw. Lots of fireworks, lots of exchanges. Great fights so far, guys. They're not disappointing. Leg kicks, straight punches,
Oh,
body
this is
shots,
action.
knees, everything. We're seeing it all.
2 rounds in, this is my fight of the night so far.
And a great deal of mutual respect between both these guys.
Oh, head kick by Jeremiah Scott, and Bart eats it.
Little bit on the end of his foot. I'd like to see more shin if he's looking for the finish with that.
Now he goes
But
low.
great setup. Big
Takedown for Jeremiah Scott, but he's in a choke. We'd like to see him put him flat on his back, get on his feet, drive forward. He wants to get that head out.
Bart's cranking. It looks like he's only got really that
And
one
Jay-Z
arm.
clears his head, but a good attempt by Bart Weeks. Good job capitalizing on the head down, scooping it right out with his arms. And again, he's keeping that posture low, trying not to let him posture up and strike. What Jeremiah wants to be able to do is get his back straight up in the air, start raining down punches. But it's not going to be easy to do on a guy like Bart. He's a seasoned vet.
Landing some shots here, peppering again like we saw earlier with Mishak Adams and Bouchard. There goes the posture. Big right hand attempt. Didn't seem to land too clean.
Bart's breathing very heavy, and Jeremiah lets him up. And a nice straight right hand to counter that kick.
I don't care what strike it is, guys. Neither of them need to be leaving it out there for the other person to grab it or strike it. If you're going to strike, you
Absolutely.
commit to it. Not every strike's got to be 100%, but you commit to what you do in this game.
Absolutely. Want to see him land it and bring it right back.
Bart Weeks with more pressure, pushing Jeremiah Scott up against the cage. Didn't really like that whole takedown experience he just dealt with. Scott uses his agility to circle out. Leg kick, low leg kicks all day at this fight.
Pushing, smacking him up against the cage. Jeremiah walking off, not even looking at him, brushes it off.
Seeing a little bit of fatigue now in this very
Absolutely.
competitive third round for both these fighters.
No matter how good a shape you're in, you're going to take that damage, it's going to wear on you. Bart
Bart
pressuring.
unleashing
Jeremiah
here.
has to get off the cage, and he does. Good attack from Bart Weeks, but Jeremiah weathering the storm. These guys are getting a little sloppy now. Bart eats a big right hand and a leg kick. And it just misses again with that overhand right.
These guys are picking their spots where to explode
Now
in this
single
fight.
leg, but Bart driving forward has Jeremiah against the cage.
Good finish by
Jeremiah Scott on top, second takedown of the round.
Needs to look for posture here and not just be content.
With this much time left in the round, you gotta imagine that's gonna win him the round 2 takedowns. Bart's gotta work and get back up to his feet.
Bart was more aggressive for, I'd say, a good 20-second stretch, really trying to,
Absolutely.
in my opinion, finish the fight.
And now that takedown, 2 takedowns in a round, you're gaining that control. It's a close call. Looking for that submission now. I'd like to see him attack with those legs like he's doing. Come out the back door,
Stacking.
perhaps.
Stacking and whacking
Now
right
Jeremiah
here.
Scott looking for strikes, looking to land damage. Just misses with a hard shot. Good job keeping that distance by Weeks.
10 seconds left in this round, folks. We'll see what we get here. Constant action. This fight is not for the faint of heart.
That third round is over. The best part about this, we get 2 more rounds.
And we got some great seats, I must say.
I'm liking my seat, how to complain.
Not that there's a bad seat in the house at Warfield 12, Rise of Champions at the House of Blues in North Myrtle Beach. We got a packed house and everybody's been on their feet for this fight. Bart Weeks' corner, giving a little advice between rounds. In my opinion, it's going to be to look for the takedown. Big knee by Bart Scott, and then you see our Bart Weeks, my fault, Jeremiah Scott defending this guillotine really, really well. Pummels in, gets control of that hand, and you'll see here shortly, he gets that head out, and he makes Bart pay for being in this position.
You see the corner of Bart icing his leg. He's got a big welt in there from those leg kicks. But now we see Jeremiah Scott breathing pretty heavy. It's going to be interesting to see the damage these guys are landing come that 4th round, these championship rounds. This is when the heart comes out.
This is what matters here. It's all on the line, guys. That's why we love this sport. So many things can happen. Close competitive fight this whole time. See if this fight stays this way. Both these guys got a lot of proof of themselves and each other.
And again, they call them the championship rounds because every fighter that steps in the cage plans on going 3. Only the high-level guys are going 5. And to go hard 5 like these guys are doing, very impressive thus
Beautiful
far.
kicks by Jeremiah Scott. Both legs he's kicking, and he's making Bart Weeks' balance a little bit testy.
Slip there, falls to his knees, but he's back up. Another leg kick. Now he's attacking the opposite of the one that's injured. Bart Weeks with hard shots, but now Jay-Z in on a takedown. And back into that full guard of Weeks.
Very, very impressive game plan switch from what I can tell with Jeremiah Scott. As the fight
Absolutely.
progressed, he's looking for his takedowns. He knows that he's the better fighter on the ground. At least he's trying to show that here tonight.
Absolutely, and he's doing a good job mixing the strikes and the takedowns. It's like Weeks doesn't have a chance to defend it.
Like to see him again do much. These are very tiring rounds, guys. These guys are going at it. I would like to see Jeremiah posture up,
Yes.
do a little bit more damage, and I'd also like to see Bart Weeks not just hold him there, try to get up.
The more he's on top, punching and pressuring, the more tired his opponent's going to get. Now we see him pass into side control for a second and lose position. And a nice right hand. Crazy. He's on ice skates now. You can see the legs of Weeks are wobbled. He's not liking this. We don't want to see this guy get too crazy here, but he lands another right hand. He could put him away if he pressures. If he pressures, he could finish here.
There needs to be
And a
more
takedown
desperation from Jeremiah Scott.
This is
here.
getting very intense in that fourth round. He's got to move, not a position he wants to hang out in. And a good job getting that half guard back, but now he doesn't want to end the round on his back. He wants to get back on top.
And that's not considered a takedown. That's just considered.
By no means. By no means that's a guard pull. These guys are both exhausted. Now, if Weeks is able to do damage here, very different story. We can see him steal this round, but thus far, this is Jeremiah Scott's round.
Very impressed with both these guys, the way they're showing up tonight. They're each having their moments in this fight, and they're
Absolutely.
each trying to bounce back.
These guys are very evenly matched. They're able to find the holes in each other's game, but man, they're bringing out the best in each other. This is a very interesting matchup.
Don't you pull one finger, Bart.
I really don't think Jeremiah realized how bad he had Bart Weeks hurt. And
Bart was wobbled.
That was ice skates.
Absolutely. He 1 or 2 strikes from going down, but they call him Iron Man. He's displaying his heart. You know, these championship rounds, he wants that belt.
Very, very gritty performance so far by Bart Weeks.
Absolutely.
And
Jeremiah Scott comes out the back door on top, but now we have Bart Weeks looking to reverse. Jeremiah Scott gets
Side
a pass.
control.
He's on side control. He's got to get a little higher to maintain that position, and he starts to work his way up. Now we're starting to see a tide turn here. In these championship rounds, Jeremiah Scott's starting to steal it. Good job by Weeks getting back to that guard, though.
He's got one butterfly guard in right now.
One butterfly hook in, and now he gets back to that full guard with his legs locked around Scott's back to keep him from going anywhere.
And it looks like
Short
Bart's
time
really
left.
just trying to control him at this later minutes of
Absolutely.
this
He wants to
round.
weather this storm, get back to his corner, regroup, and come out for that 5th hard.
Nothing's coming easy in this fight. And chill.
Woo! This
That's
is
about all I
fight of
can
the night
say.
in my book.
Both guys are tired. Both guys are exhausted. They're putting their hearts on the line. And man, that's what this sport's all about. That's why we love
Absolutely.
it.
We got one more round for these guys, and in their head, they're just, I guarantee you, Trevor, what would you be thinking here? I'd imagine, I got to get through this, and I'm done. And I got to win this round.
Nobody's taking this round from me is what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
Right now. This is my round. This is my fight, my round. See a pretty crazy little kick thrown by Jeremiah, and he just misses. He slips there on one of the logos, which can also be pretty slippery when water hits it.
Absolutely, especially these many fights in, that canvas is going to be a little
If we
wet.
could get to that shot that Jeremiah landed with on Bart Weeks, right in the center of the cage, very decisive right hand, looked like it had him on ice skates.
There we see Weeks on top, looking to maybe reverse or get a quick guillotine attempt, but a good job by Scott sitting through, gets that half guard, and he was able to reverse from there, so it proved to be a good choice on his part.
Oh, baby. Let's
These
hear
guys
it,
have put on
Let's hear
a
it for
war,
these guys.
and despite the war they've been through, they look relatively fresh and ready to go for a
Class
5th round.
acts, both these guys. Here we go.
And again, we see Weeks' right leg a little flat-footed there. Those leg kicks wearing on it. This 5th round is when guys start to feel that damage.
You can't knee to the head. South
An
Carolina.
illegal knee to the head by Weeks. Nice mouse under the eye of Jeremiah Scott, too. And again, an injury like that for an illegal strike, that's
Blake Rice decided to go ahead and take a point. from
that's
that
good
illegal strike to
refereeing
the head.
from an illegal knee.
We're all warned in the rules meeting at the beginning of the night of what can and cannot do. We're all aware that knees cannot be thrown to the head.
No.
All these judges do a very, very good job, and it's a deliberate knee.
Absolutely.
Very deliberate knee to the
If
head.
it was one of those hand-down situations or a technicality, different story, but that was a clear shot knee. So, you know, good call by Blake Rice. This guy's refs millions of, tons of fights. Good call on his part, and we see a point taken from Weeks.
And again, it wasn't that all these fighters get warned in the rules meetings of what's
Absolutely.
legal and illegal. Blake bringing for a conference in the middle of the cage.
We will finish clean.
Blake just reestablishing the rules that he talked about before, and we're back underway in the fight of the night so far.
Scott takes out that leg. Good leg kick. And again, he's attacking that leg. He's using that head movement. I'd like to see him bring those hands up. Good job by Weeks. He's getting desperate. He lost that point. He knows he's got to attack. This is a close fight.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Bart's got to really, in his head, look for the finish right now.
Absolutely. I'd say very, very good chance that Jeremiah Scott's up on these scorecards.
You lose a point in any fight, that is a big deal.
Absolutely. It could have very well came down to this round. Now you lost the point. You better win it. You got to dominate the round. You can't just win it. When he goes for that takedown, he's able to get him down.
It can very easily turn a 10-9 round into a 9-9 round.
Absolutely.
Or a 10-9 round into a 10-8 round. And
More or
that's
less
2 points.
negating the 5th round, and whoever was ahead going into it, coming out the victor. So this is an important time for him. He's got to make a statement, look for that 10-8 type round, and really dominate. I'd like to see him posture up and land some strikes here.
Jeremiah going for some sort of submission
Good
attempt
defense
here.
by Bard. He pulls that arm out, but he's not really using it to capitalize, not attacking. Both men are exhausted. This has been a war.
Deep breath by Bart Weeks.
Another nice leg kick, but against the fence. Got to drive forward, got to protect his neck and fall to that back. He wants to fight hands with his left hand, pull that arm down, and then he wants to control and get on his left side. He wants to hide out.
Now Bart's almost in full mount here.
What Jeremiah needs to do is really get those knees back in, start creeping his right and left knee in, turn to the ceiling, and we see him start to get his legs back and get back to that guard. And now what Bart's going to look to do is try to pass, but Jeremiah needs to get on his right side, frame up, protect his head, and really start to create that distance.
Not much on these punches here at this point in the round. Both these guys have given everything they've had.
Absolutely.
Fight.
Absolutely. Now for Jeremiah, he doesn't want to lay flat. He wants to get on that right side. All the way to his right, get that left arm underhook, and he's going to try to go to the ceiling. We see one arm's out nice and high, but that other one wants to block those punches. Get under that arm, really make him work.
At this point in the fight, it's anybody's guess to what's on the scorecard. We've seen a
Absolutely.
very competitive, very close fight.
This is fight of the night, in my opinion. These guys are leaving it all out there, and they have done nothing but... And a nice back take by Jeremiah Scott. Looking for control. He gets on top and mount. Finishing strong here. Beautiful, beautiful jiu-jitsu by Jeremiah Scott.
Bart looked like his tank is about empty. He's
Absolutely.
kind of accepting this position.
Absolutely. And
Jeremiah
in
looking
that.
to land clean left hands. Not a lot behind him. We got 10 seconds left.
Short time left in this title fight. Great display by these guys.
Unbelievable fight. Unloading.
More shots, hard shots.
We have the, oh my Lord.
Well done. Great fight. These guys went to battle, fight of the night.
That's an exclamation point on that fight right there.
Wow, great fight. I'm in shock watching that. I thought it was going to be a good fight, but that was incredible.
I want to get in there right now, Joe. I want to get in there right now.
You're wearing a suit, not the best choice. We got to get your shorts and
I
your
don't mind
gloves
a little
first.
blood in the suit. I love it. I love it. Wonderful
Well
fight
done by both these fighters.
Oh, man. Bart Weeks. More action than we saw here in the 5th round. Bart got on top, was kind of content to be there for a little while.
Absolutely. Then we see that leg come in, back by Jeremiah Scott. He gets that leg working. And you know what that is? That's all the work he's putting in. Sergio Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's a long lineage of black belts, competitors, MMA fighters. He trains there in Myrtle Beach with Frankie Patches, right? He's getting it in every day with these guys. He's growing as a jiu-jitsu fighter, learning and evolving, and now as a full mixed martial artist. Very impressive performance.
And both these guys look good on their feet. Both of them had a solid ground game.
Absolutely.
What do you
came
think, Joe?
prepared.
Put you on the spot. Who won this fight? What do you think?
Jeremiah Scott controlled a lot of the time and landed the harder strikes. But by volume, Bart Weeks landed some good straight punches in those early rounds, came forward. Those later rounds came down Jeremiah Scott.
Joe. Give me a name.
I got to go with the prophet, Jeremiah Scott. But a good fight by both. It could go either way.
We'll see very shortly the final decision here, as all the scorecards are getting tabulated. Remember, this is a 5-round fight. Lots of things to consider with each round that led up to this total fight. It's not one round, who won one or two.
Absolutely.
It's who won for the course of 5 rounds.
Absolutely. And in that sense, I got to give it to the guy with the harder shots, the more damage. I mean, outside of a couple marks in his face, Jeremiah Scott looks pretty good right now. You know, Bart Weeks, it looks like he has a broken hand, actually. I saw him showing it to the doctor, so that might have had an effect on it, too. Good fight by these guys. but I got to say Jeremiah Scott probably got the better of it.
Oh man, definitely
Edged
no
it out.
question in my mind that this was fight of the night so far.
Absolutely.
We have so
And
many
that shows,
fights
man,
left.
these guys, they're amateur fighters in name, but they're just in that cusp of going pro. That was a pro level fight by
Throwing it
any
up
means.
to Bruce.
There's the judges' scorecards. Judge number 1 scored this bout 49-47. Judge number 2 scored this bout 50-45. Judge number 3 scored this bout 47-47. Your winner by majority decision, Jeremiah the Prophet Scott.
Another show of mutual respect between both these great fighters. I want everybody here to go ahead and give it up for the challenger here tonight. Let's go ahead and give it up for Bart. That was one heck of a fight put on by that man right there. The man of the hour, the man who earned this belt that he's putting on right now, Jeremiah Scott. Let's give it up for Jeremiah Scott. Jeremiah, walk me through a couple things that happened in that fight. You took a really, really hard low blow. How did that change the fight for you? Anything in your head you decided to do differently after that point? Talk me through.
Oh, actually, I kind of like when dudes kick me in the nuts. It gives me a good 5 seconds to relax, you know. But my nuts are great. The fight was awesome. Bart Weeks hits like a damn truck. Those shits were lunch boxes hitting me. But man, I gotta thank my sponsors, my family for supporting me out here, my coaches, Sarah BJJ, Asher Blocker for helping me out with my stand-up all the time. God's truly blessed me to be around real people. And I want to say thank Andy Hall, Warfare. I'm ready for the next one, baby. I ain't going nowhere.
I want everybody here to give it up for our champion, Jeremiah the Prophet Scott.
And after that fight, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more action after this, the House of Blues.
Man, I feel like I'm running a marathon here tonight, man. Whew. Wonderful fight by both these guys, and I can't say it enough. We gotta give it up for Bart Weeks. Great fight. But for us at Warfare Fighting Championships, we're gonna go ahead and throw it back to you guys.
I did that.
Gotta give it up.